And a very good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes on this Monday. My name is Jeff Owens. My co-host is Annalicia Haynes.
How's it going, everyone?
Good. Our guest there from the Special Olympics, Vanessa Duncan.
Hi, Jeff. Hi, Alicia.
Good to meet. She's the Region 1 Assistant Director for Development, Special Olympics, Illinois. And our guest today, Mr. Bradley Todd. He's the Global Ambassador for this area and Special Olympics athlete. Welcome, Bradley.
Thank you.
I'm glad you both could come in. We also have some other members in here, so if you see somebody in the background on TV, they're going to take some pictures, and they didn't want to be on, so we go. Well, I guess it's pretty cool because here, less than just a few weeks away, you're going to have your first event here on the campus of Eastern Illinois. So that's why we kind of worked at perfect time to get this together. So Vanessa, why don't you talk about the first event that's coming up here on EIU?
Our first event is the Eastern Illinois Glow Polar Plunge. It's the first ever EIU Glow Polar Plunge and the first ever glow-in-the-dark plunge, period. And it was really brought about because our Eastern Illinois University students come out every year to Effingham Polar Plunge, and they form groups and participate in our College Cup Challenge. In fact, our special education department has won the last 5 years our Region I College Cup Challenge, and that got $1,000 back to them each year in a scholarship for their group. And then Alpha Sigma Alpha is another group who has won consistently at second place, which got them $500 back each year for a total of 4 years. So they've really gone all out. And this year they really wanted to bring that event to Eastern Illinois University to show Eastern support for Special Olympics Illinois and our Special Olympics athletes like Bradley.
Okay. Now, why did you add the glow-in-the-dark thing? Just to give it a twist, and it's the first one? Where'd that come from?
Well, a part of it was scheduling. We were discussing what day works really well for our Eastern students and what they really wanted. And I have a core of EIU students who are on our committee, and they suggested that we do a glow-in-the-dark theme polar plunge. And in that case, it meant we needed to do it in the evening time. So it starts at 7 p.m.
That's awesome. Now, obviously, each of the athletes is required to raise so much money. Do you set goals for an event like this, or how does that work?
Well, each plunger does usually set their own goal, or team goals are set. I know that SEC and Sigma Rho joined with the special education department to really get a high goal going, and I know theirs was like $5,000. So we would encourage teams to set their own goals, but $100 is the minimum fundraising amount that a person raises. They get their official polar plunge hoodie, and they get a plunge in for our athletes.
You brought the new hoodie. It's a kind of EIU colors. So we like that.
Super sweet. And it's heather gray each year. We have a different plunge hoodie. Last year we're wearing our 2018 plunge hoodies, but this is the new one.
I like it.
Sweet, yeah.
That's pretty cool. Now, there's still room and there's still time for people to get into the EIU one, I assume, right?
Absolutely. In fact, we have day of registration.
Okay.
A person can come that day. We have registration and plunger check-in from 5 to 7 p.m. So they can come with their $100 in donations and register right there.
So you don't have to be on a team. You can do it individual if you want, right?
Absolutely.
So I like that. The less rules, better, right?
Exactly. So is the one in Effingham still happening? Is that still?
Yes. In fact, that's this Saturday, isn't it, Bradley?
Oh, wow.
Are you doing that one too, Bradley, then?
Quick.
Yes.
So you're doing the Eastern one as well?
Well, he's going to be at our Eastern one because we have our Special Olympics athletes throwing in glow sticks so that our plungers can reach in and kind of dip down and grab a glow stick as a souvenir and, a little bit of fun, glow-in-the-dark style. So Bradley will definitely be at our EIU Glow Polar Plunge. I'm not sure if you're going to be plunging twice. I know I'm just plunging once because this weekend's going to be pretty cold with a 23-degree prediction. So
what's your thoughts on this weekend when you know you got to get in that cold water, Bradley?
Less clothes, maybe.
Hashtag freezing for a reason. That's all I keep saying.
How long do you have to stay in the actual water? Do you just have to get in for a minute? Is there rules? Or
Actually, it's up to the polar plunger. Once you raise your $100 in donations, however you decide to plunge is up to you. We do have some people who just like to tip their toe in. Some people like to go up to their knees. Other people go all the way in. And so, it's really however you choose and whatever is your safety preference.
Now, Bradley was saying you're going all the way in, it sounds like, right?
She always does.
There you go. Now, Bradley, have you made your decision yet? You going all the way in, knees, or what?
I'm probably going to have to go all the way in again.
I like it. I like it a lot.
So you mentioned you're freezing for a reason. Do you want to talk a little bit about the purpose of plunging into the cold water? Because I know it doesn't just start or stop in Central Illinois.
Absolutely not. See, freezing for a reason is freezing for our Special Olympics athletes like Bradley, making sure that they have free sports competitions. Every parent knows, how expensive it gets to pay for entry fees for a competition, whether that be your sport is gymnastics or track and field or swimming. And so we make sure that our athletes never have to pay to get into a competition. They also have free food at that competition, plus the coaches are taken care of. And we want them to come out. We want them to have that experience and not have a reason not to. So the Polar Plunge is our huge fundraising event of the year. It raises the majority of the funds that cover our EIU Spring Games, which is our biggest Region I event, is our EIU Spring Games. We also have our swimming competition coming up at the University of Illinois Arc. We have our state basketball coming up in March. I mean, we have so many competitions, including powerlifting and softball and bowling, and those are just up until like August. So we want to make sure our athletes can do those competitions, compete for free, have the sports equipment they need, and really go all out for their goals. Right, Bradley?
Right.
Now, Bradley, what all sports do you participate in through Special Olympics?
I do flag football, softball, bowling, track and field, basketball, swimming,
and bocce.
I should have just asked him what he didn't do.
Yeah, right.
Do you have a favorite?
Swimming right now.
Swimming right now? All right. Well, you'll be swimming this weekend too, my friend. I think Alicia kind of took my question about the money, but the money goes to sporting events and all the stuff for the athletes. But Special Olympics is also last year was at their 50th anniversary, and so it's been part of the Americana for now 5 decades. Talk about what Special Olympics does for the entire country and just how important it is for athletes like Bradley, but other people across the country as well.
Well, actually, that's a great question because our 50th anniversary spawned our inclusion revolution. We really want people to see our athletes as true athletes, to not be looking at them and be like, oh, they try. No, they don't. They compete. They are out there practicing for 8 weeks before their competition. If they win gold at their competition, they advance on to state competitions, and even athletes advance on to our national and world games competitions. And you might have seen our USA Games at Seattle, Washington. We had one of our athletes right here from Region I, from Diederich, who participated in the 800-meter run, and she has braces on both of her legs. And Riley Baxter, she did a wonderful job and took 4th at USA Games in Seattle, Washington. And so we couldn't be more proud of our athletes who excel, like Bradley, who is a gold medal swimmer, and actually he's a gold medal champion in most of his sports, because
so you brought in a ringer today, right?
Yes, I did. I mean, because Bradley can talk about how hard it is to make those practices work because some of our sports overlap. He does, 9 out of the 14? So that's, yes. But if you imagine, 14 competitions throughout the year, plus our advanced competitions, plus sending our athletes to World Games like Abu Dhabi coming up.
Is he going to Abu Dhabi? I saw,
No, we do have a Region I athlete who is going, but I'm pretty sure we're going to get to see Bradley at a USA Games or World Games here really soon. So
Todd, she asked you, can you talk a little bit about the training and what it takes to be a Special Olympic athlete?
There's a lot of training that goes into it. You've got to be sure you're ready to compete, because sometimes people aren't really ready to compete in like the big events like state. I know when I first started, I wasn't really ready for the atmosphere that it would be to be in a big building like state and have all these people cheering you on. I wasn't really expecting that first year, but it's kind of grown on me to maybe include more of my friends or family members to come cheer everybody on. I've been trying to get people to notice that we're more than just this people where their friends, where their family, we're just regular, everyday people just like them.
So the nerves are gone now, right?
Yes.
So you've went from the nervous athlete to really training the next and working on the next group? Is that kind of
we actually have levels for all our athletes. We have our player development model. Some of our athletes, like Bradley said, maybe aren't ready to compete. Maybe they're not ready for the noise, or they have sensory issues that prevent them from getting out in a stadium, especially like EIU spring games. It's huge. So when you think about that, our player development model kind of helps those athletes develop those skills before they go on to a bigger competition like state summer games. And then our traditional sports athletes are ages, 8 and plus. They do compete in track and field, like the 50-meter run, the running long jump, where track and field events that you see in our IHSA or IESA programs as well. We share the same rules as them, so our athletes have to train so they know the rules, because we want them to get us qualified, which is a possibility in competition for any athlete. And so it is really important that Bradley trains with his coaches and his teammates and learns those skills for each sport he does before he competes. And he's got there.
There you go. Now, since I think I called it Region 1, I didn't realize it was Region I. Sorry about that.
I for incredible.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, but when the I, how big is the region that that Bradley and his teammates compete from? Is it Mattoon, Charleston, Effingham, or how's that work?
Well, Area 9 formed and combined with Area 8 and Area 10 to form Region I, and that's because we wanted to make sure our athletes had the best venues. We need venues that have handicapped accessibility, changing rooms, and restrooms for our athletes. We need to make sure there's parking available for them, because a lot of them need time to get out of their vehicles. So we combined to make sure that Mattoon, Charleston, Effingham, Champaign, and Decatur, all the teams surrounding those areas really had the best venues and the biggest venues, because our competitions have kind of outgrown some of our spaces here in Central Illinois.
It's a good bad thing, right? Or a bad good thing? How do you say that?
Right. It's a good problem to have.
There you go. What about needs right now for Special Olympics? Obviously, it's a fundraising event, but what other needs? Do you need volunteers? Do you need coaches? Do you need supplies? What about if anybody needed to contact you and say, I wouldn't mind getting involved after hearing maybe Bradley talk today?
Oh, well, that would be wonderful, because our EIU Young Athletes program is growing every year. And so our civic and volunteerism department, and plus our special education department, do our Young Athletes program at Mark Twain Elementary. And we really like to see that grow to Carl Sandburg as well, because all athletes ages 2 to 7 are learning the foundational skills of sports. So that's an all-inclusive program. Athletes with and without disabilities learning the foundational sports skills together. So our preschools, kindergarten, and first graders, we really want them to kind of have those programs available to them. So we always need volunteers for that, because that happens fall and spring semester, and you can contact the civic and volunteerism department here at EIU to get involved as a volunteer, because we need young athlete coaches every year. So that's a great way to get involved, plus volunteering for our EIU spring games, which we already have volunteer forms available for Eastern students to sign up, or coming out and cheering on your EIU fellow glow polar plungers, just coming out to the event. Say you don't want to plunge, but maybe you have $5 to donate to your best friend who is plunging. Come on out, give him $5, and sit there and watch him freeze for a reason. You will love the screams. You will laugh. Even if you don't have funds to give or change to give, just still come on out and cheer them on, because they need your support. Right, Bradley?
Right.
It takes a lot of gumption, so the cheering helps.
Let's go to Sunday, March 3rd. What are your goals and estimates in terms of the amount of people that are going to plunge? And how, it's hard to tell me people are going to show up and watch, but do you want to have 100 plungers, 200 plungers, 500, what?
We'd love to see EIU have alumni, faculty, and students, and family and friends in the 100, at least 100 plungers. I mean, that would be awesome. We've had over 40 EIU plungers in the past. just 2 years ago, we had ended up having our largest group of EIU polar plungers at 54. So we really do hope to hit that 100 mark. That would be amazing for the first year at EIU.
I know Travis Buckholder. He's a football player here, but he also works at the radio station. He's got a team together, so he was excited about it when we announced it. So
well, Cornelius Page, who's a football player, was my intern this past summer, and you know, I hopefully he's getting me another intern that's from the football team, because I have a lot of carrying, don't I? A lot of hauling.
When you think about events like this and other events, how much time do you have to plan for the one event? But you've got so many things going on. How do you keep them all kind of in control so they go one after another?
Well, actually, when we combined it, as an area director, it was like you wear all hats. So I would run both the fundraising plus all the sports. Now as a Region I, we kind of divide and conquer. Jackie Walk, who's a former Mattoon resident, she runs our sports competitions, and I run the fundraising and the young athletes program, our development. I'm really trying to bring in our inclusive unified champion schools like EIU, which is a unified champion school. And, you know.
Don't you wish Vanessa had some energy?
That's a good shout out.
Well, it is. It's pretty awesome because there's very few colleges in the state of Illinois who are unified champion schools, and EIU is one. And a unified champion school is a school that it gets involved in our young athletes programs in some way with our student coaches, and really EIU runs that program. I show up and do a culminating event, but that's about it. They know their stuff and they run it every year. Plus people who get involved in the plunge and do that, and then have an event on their campus where all school is invited. Those are the three requirements for unified champion school, and so EIU has been one of the first unified champion schools in the state of Illinois.
Oh, that's impressive. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have a great department and that supports it. So,
Bradley, I have a question for you that I want to go back to something you said, Vanessa. Bradley, I asked you what your favorite sport was. You said swimming. Is there a sport that you do just because your buddies are doing it and you don't like it as much? Is there a least favorite sport?
Not really.
All right,
I like all sports. I'm a very active person. Like most of my friends, we do softball, flag football, unified soccer,
team sports,
basketball, and swimming. We do all that together as we've kind of grown into like a family type affair.
Can you explain to Jeff and Alicia what unified soccer is? What is that?
Well, you take 3 athletes from Special Olympics and pair them, you pair Special Olympic athletes with non-athletes from like a college or place.
Regular old dopes like me and Annalisa.
Thanks, Jeff.
Well, college students that players that play soccer to join in and help play. We'll go. I know Chicago Fire has their own unified soccer team where people from the Chicago Fire team will coach the unified team, and they'll travel to Atlanta to face their unified team, or travel to last year to Chicago to play in the first annual Unified Cup.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. In fact, Trey Scosi, who last week was at our Unified Champion Schools rally in Texas, he actually plays for Ole Miss's unified soccer team.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, so unified teams are developing. In fact, EIU has the Ability Ball Bulldogs. I don't know if you know that. And it's an all-traditional Special Olympics only volleyball team. So there's 6 Special Olympics athletes. But they have been starting on developing the idea of getting a unified EIU volleyball team where we'd have 3 Special Olympics athletes and 3 athletes without disabilities on the court, 3 EIU students on the court. And that's their team volleyball. Anytime they rotate out, they would have to make sure that ratio stays the same.
Makes sense, yeah.
But that's what unified is. It's our Special Olympics athletes maybe taking on a bigger challenge and taking on a bigger competition with the support of their peer partners, which are athletes without disabilities.
How do you go ahead.
I was just going to say, what's the importance of having those unified teams?
Hashtag inclusion revolution. It really is so that people will start seeing our athletes as the sports, men that they are, men and women, excuse me. It shows that they have the talent and they have the skill and they have the drive, and maybe they shouldn't be underestimated. And plus, making sure our generations coming up in the world have that tolerance level and
Absolutely.
see people as equal instead of I'm better than you because maybe I play a sport better than you. No, it's more like we play a sport together and we make this team great together. So that's what our unified sports are.
That's wonderful.
Same question. I was asked, do you like playing the unified sports?
Yeah. Last year we ended up playing in a unified college cup for us in Champaign. Last year we had the college from Springfield that my brother's friend goes to and helps coach. He sent down some of his kids, coaches, to play unified soccer last year. This year we're actually kind of trying to go with maybe a more hometown crowd. We're trying to get part of the EIU soccer team to come help us defend this cup this year that we won last year in Champaign.
I like it. There you go.
That's an announcement to EIU men's and women's soccer.
Yeah, I don't think we have any soccer players right now on anything. I've had some in the past, but so now. Let's say that people are here today and they listen to this stuff, but they have a new idea, something they think would be a cool way for Special Olympics to get involved with. Are you guys up for new ideas and other options if someone has something they want to come see, Vanessa?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, we've had several teams who have gotten involved in the past. Our EIU women's basketball team held a clinic last year for both our Ability Ball Bulldogs basketball team and our Mattoon Charleston Hornets. So, and if you want to reach out and hold a clinic for one of our sports, that's wonderful. In the past, we've always had our EIU athletic training day, which in March, all our track and field athletes would come out, and Dr. Inkenbrand and Coach Mack would get out there with our athletes and get them ready, time them, and have them practice their events, and then measure their distances or take their times on their runnings. So, it was a really good practice day, and we encourage EIU sports and athletics. If that's something that they would want to do and host for our athletes, we would love it.
There you go.
Absolutely. Cool. Get a hold of me.
Now, how long have you been involved with Special Olympics?
Yeah, I will be having my 5-year anniversary here in a week and a half.
So do you have a favorite part or a favorite story or that one touchy moment in the past 5 years? It's kind of the wow moment so far in Vanessa Duncan's career at Special Olympics?
Oh, man. I've had a lot of wow moments. A lot of wow moments. And I don't know if I can pinpoint one of them. But recently, within the past year, we lost one of our most beloved athletes. And I co-coached the Mattoon Charleston Hornets. Not really. Brad coached the team, and Anthony was a big part of our team. And we lost him last March, and it really affected us all. So I am actually hashtag freezing for a reason for Anthony this year. I'll be wearing my hashtag Love Like Anthony shirt at the plunge, and so
I think his loss kind of affected the entire area, because that was almost like some of the, you don't want to say it this way, but the biggest news when Anthony passed away was just everybody was just it was just like there was a sullen atmosphere over Coles County for a few days because no one could believe it.
Absolutely, and I think that when we think of Special Olympics, or we think of programs like Camp New Hope, we do think of Anthony Sheehan and the dedication of his parents, Mark and Monty, and really what he accomplished in Special Olympics and in life. So, he's a great model to live by, and
he loves sports.
Yeah, absolutely. And he sang our national anthem at many of events, so I'm going to miss that too.
Yep. We have a few minutes left. Bradley, anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to talk about on your behalf for Special Olympics today?
Actually, I was going to say, going back to the thing about Anthony, last year I was actually part of that Mattoon Charleston Hornets team.
You guys won the state, right, or something? Or
oh yeah,
our entire team that was joining the state had ended up making it to his visitation that day. And that was like, I think, a few weeks before we actually went on to state. It was kind of a heartbreaking moment, but we got to stay. Vanessa had made a chair that was honoring him and gave us a Hornets jersey to put on it. And after that point, we felt just somebody was sitting in that seat with us, and we all figured that's gotta be him. So we went out there and played probably our best basketball
ever.
We played.
It was
That's
amazing.
awesome.
They were not supposed to win.
He was there with us that day, and we ended up coming out with the title for him.
How awesome was that?
It was
And we ended up playing Tyler Hahn, one of his best friends. He ended up going to the Dairy Queen that Monty owns and actually giving the title and a medal that they gave us for him.
I remember seeing that picture. That's awesome, man. So, wow. Sometimes there's shows that your hairs are standing up, and I think you just made mine do that, Bradley. So I appreciate it. So let's switch a little bit up. Vanessa, when you think about the work that you've done, and obviously you do great work for this community, doing the stuff you do with folks like Bradley, what have you learned? I mean, what is that one thing you just learned that you didn't think maybe you were going to learn?
Well, I've learned a lot to trust the goodness of other people, because, even if we're running short on volunteers, it comes through. The Special Olympics Family Festival is a big stressor for me every year, and we come through. It happens for our athletes, and the community always pulls together for us. So really, having learned how much community support and love for our athletes is out there has been overwhelming. And, you as a donor or as a giver or as a person who volunteers their time, sometimes you do get to feeling underappreciated, but our Special Olympics athletes will never let you feel underappreciated. If you come to their events, if you come out and cheer for them, they will thank you. They will give you hugs. They will let you know that you are appreciated, and we're grateful for you.
There you go. So a reminder, the first Special Olympics glow-in-the-dark polar plunge will take place on the campus of WEIU Sunday, March 3rd. Starts 7 o'clock. It's a glow night as well. And so if you want to get information, the best way to go on, is it online, Facebook, or phone, or what's the best way?
Yes, or email me at vduncan@soill.org.
There you go. A minute left, Anthony. I want to talk a little bit. Do you follow other sports, like professional sports? Do you have a favorite athlete you like to watch? Or not?
Right now, I'm kind of holding in on the next year for the Chicago Bears.
We all are.
See what they can do. But for right now, I'm kind of going with Golden State.
Oh, you're just riding that winner, huh? I see how you are. Well, if you're going to pack a winner, that would probably be one to pack. And I think the Bears are on the come, so they're going to be. Yeah, very good. So 30 seconds to go. Any last words, Anthony? I'm going to Bradley, I'll leave that up to you if there's anything you want to say.
I'll leave that to Vanessa for these last.
Well, Bradley and I appreciate your support. Please check out the EIU Glow Polar Plunge Facebook page. Also, our EIU Spring Games is Friday, April 26th. Please mark your calendars for that. Talk to your professors about the credit that you might get for coming out and volunteering for the day. And, you can pick up your forms at the Special Education Department here in Buzzard.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming in, and have a great day, and good luck at all your competitions.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Alicia.
Absolutely.